The alarm bell screamed through every corner of Vortani High Command. Commander Lee Jun wiped sweat from his scaled forehead as he stared at the massive holographic display showing their twin suns. What they discovered was beyond their worst nightmares. Dr. Kim Do-young burst through the command room doors, his face pale as moonlight. "Commander, the calculations are confirmed. Our suns will collapse in 11 months, not the 18 we predicted. The gravitational dance has accelerated beyond all models. 8 billion Vortani faced extinction. Their advanced medical knowledge meant nothing if they all died in a stellar catastrophe." Jun felt the weight of every soul on his shoulders as he approached the communication array, its crystalline towers humming with desperate energy. "Open all channels," he commanded. Communication Officer Park Byung-soo nodded, his six-fingered, hands dancing across holographic controls. The great dish began transmitting their plea to every known civilization in the galaxy. "This is the Vortani Republic to all allied worlds. We face immediate extinction-level threat. Requesting emergency evacuation assistance. Our populations require immediate transport off-world. We offer our complete medical archives in exchange." The responses came swiftly, each one like a dagger to their hearts. The Crystalline Empire, with their vast fleets and unlimited resources, sent a cold diplomatic message. "Current protocols prevent immediate military deployment. Perhaps next quarterly review." Captain Choi Hyun-ki slammed his fist on the console. "Next quarter? We'll be atoms in space by then." His evacuation fleet consisted of only 60 operational ships, each capable of carrying 2,000 Vortani. Simple math revealed the horrible truth. They could save less than 1% of their people. Ambassador Park Min-seo stood in the corner, reading rejection after rejection. The hegemony wanted their medical databases first, before offering any help. "You must prove your technologies work on our biology," their response stated coldly. The Stellar Federation claimed resource conflicts with border disputes. One by one, civilizations they had helped, traded with, even saved from plagues, turned their backs. Young aide Yoon So-min watched the commander's shoulders gradually sink with each refusal. She had worked beside him for 5 years, managing diplomatic protocols and emergency procedures. She'd never seen him look so defeated. The days blurred together. Each sunrise brought them closer to doom while the communication arrays kept broadcasting the same desperate message. The Vortani people began gathering in city centers, families clinging together as rumors spread about failed negotiations. In the agricultural zones, farmer Han Soo-young organized food distribution for evacuation candidates. The selection process was heartbreaking. Who deserved to live while others died? Children drew pictures of their favorite places, things they'd never see again. Parent Lee Young-ho's father held his son tight, knowing the boy might never grow up to become the engineer he dreamed of being. Dr. Yang Jun-seok ran medical assessments on potential evacuees. Each person represented a life, a story, dreams that might never come true. The medical bays filled with crying families saying goodbye. Some wouldn't make it onto ships. Some wouldn't survive the journey. Some didn't want to leave at all. Commander. Jun returned to the communication center every morning hoping for good news. Instead, he found more rejections, more empty promises, more bureaucratic delays. 47 different civilizations had the power to save them. 47 chose not to. The Vortani had shared their medical advances freely for centuries. Their doctors had ended plagues on dozens of worlds. Their scientists had helped terraform barren planets into gardens. Now, in their hour of need, gratitude meant nothing. So-min prepared daily reports showing their shrinking timeline. Each day lost meant thousands more would die. Ship repairs took longer without proper resources. Fuel became scarce as mining operations shut down. The sun's radiation was already affecting their technology. Engineer O.G. Hai worked desperately to modify their remaining ships. Maybe they could pack more people if they removed life support from cargo bays. Maybe they could stretch the journey if they reduced food rations. Every modification meant choosing who lived and who died. Fear gripped their society. Markets crashed, schools closed, hospitals overflowed with panic attacks and depression. Religious leaders held massive prayers while scientists checked and rechecked their calculations, hoping for errors. Communication Officer Park monitored every frequency, scanning for any signal of hope. The silence from the galaxy was deafening. Civilizations that had made billions from Vortani trade now claimed poverty. Military alliances that had benefited from Vortani medicines suddenly discovered urgent internal conflicts. As another week passed, Jun faced the horrible reality. They had 11 months left, maybe less. Their suns were already showing signs of instability. Solar flares disrupted electronics daily. The radiation would soon make their world uninhabitable even before the final collapse. The evacuation remained impossible. They needed thousands of ships, not dozens. They needed months of transport time, not the few weeks they might have left. Most crushing of all, they needed someone to care. 3 months had passed since the first desperate pleas. Ambassador Park, Minseo's diplomatic shuttle, had become his second home, jumping from system to system, begging civilizations that had once been friends. His scales had lost their shine from stress, and his voice grew hoarse from countless presentations. The Hegemony Council sat behind their imposing metal barriers, 6 leaders who controlled 50 worlds and trillion-dollar fleets. Their spokesperson tapped long claws against the table as Minseo finished his presentation. "Your medical databases are impressive," the leader finally spoke. "Transfer them to us first. Prove they work on our biology. Then we might consider allocation of transport resources." Minseo's heart sank. "But our people will die before you finish testing. We need help now, not conditional promises." "That is not our concern. Business is business." On the wealthy syndicate stations, gold-plated merchants listened to his pleas while counting profits. The head trader, surrounded by luxury beyond imagination, barely looked up from her holographic displays showing market trends. "We could purchase your technology," she offered casually. "Full rights to your medical advances, very generous prices, but humanitarian missions? Too expensive, too risky." "We're not selling anything," Minseo replied desperately. "We're dying. We need rescue ships." The trader shrugged. "Then you have nothing we want." The Federation of Free Worlds had once celebrated Vortani doctors who saved their colonies from the Gray Plague. Now their representatives hid behind ancient bureaucracy. "Applications for emergency aid must go through proper channels," explained a board official. "Forms 4R47B through 899C, reviewed by 7 committees, approved by regional governors." "How long does that take?" Minseo interrupted. "Standard processing time is 18 to 36 months. Our world ends in 8 months. Perhaps you should have filed earlier." Back on Vortani homeworld, the evacuation attempts grew more desperate. Captain Choi Hyun-ki stood in the shipyard where mechanics worked around the clock trying to coax life from ancient vessels. Spare parts had stopped arriving months ago. Their trading partners claimed supply chain issues. "Number 7 is down again," reported Chief Engineer. "The hyperdrive core is cracked. We need neutronium sealant." "And where do we get that?" Choi asked, though he knew the answer. "The suppliers won't trade without payment up front. They don't think we'll be around to pay our debts." Dr. Kim Do-young ran simulations in the science labs, each calculation showing the same terrible truth. Their sun's collapse had accelerated again. 8 months had become 7, then 6. The outer planets already showed signs of the coming disaster, violent storms, failing ecosystems, mass migrations of animals seeking safety that didn't exist. In the civilian zones, Han Soo-young organized community kitchens, where families shared meals that might be their last together. Children played games they'd learned from human broadcasts, pretending to be heroes who saved planets. Their innocence broke her heart. Young Lee Young-ho still attended school when power allowed. His teacher, Mrs. Kang Na-young, tried to keep lessons normal while radiation detectors clicked ominously outside. The boy drew pictures of spaceships coming to save them, though fewer arrived in his artwork each day. Communication Officer Park Byung-soo monitored subspace channels obsessively, hoping to catch whispers of help. Instead, he overheard trading, Negotiations where other species discussed buying Vortani colonies at distressed prices after the extinction event. "They're already planning to pick our bones clean," he reported to Commander June. The commander stood at his office window, watching. Construction crews build underground shelters that everyone knew were useless. When the suns collapsed, nowhere would be safe. Still, they built because giving up meant death came faster. News reports from their remaining allies grew colder. The Crystalline Empire was reassessing relationships with species facing extinction. The Trade Consortium warned that Vortani currency would become worthless once their civilization fell. Insurance companies declared the situation an act of star and refused claims. Dr. Yang Jun-seok, the human xenobiology specialist who'd once worked with Vortani scientists, sent private messages expressing his people's frustration. Earth wanted to help, but couldn't mobilize resources without official approval. Approval that older, richer civilizations blocked in council votes. "The humans tried," Jun told his staff. "They voted to help us in every Galactic Council session, but they're outnumbered 50-1. Administrative aide Yoon Somin cataloged each refusal in her endless reports. Her database now contained 417 separate excuses for why the galaxy couldn't save 8 billion lives. The patterns disgusted her. Species they'd helped during their darkest times now claimed temporary poverty or convenient conflicts. The truth became clear. Nobody wanted to risk their resources on a dying race. The Vortani were good for trade and medical treaties, but not worth expensive rescue missions. The galaxy operated on profit, not compassion. Military Commander Kim Sung-woo reviewed their defense capabilities as radiation increased. Pirates already lurked at their borders, waiting to scavenge. Some civilizations had quietly suggested that ancient territorial claims might become relevant after Vortani extinction. "They're already dividing up our empty worlds," she reported grimly. As sixth month ended, despair settled like dust over their civilization. The wealthy had abandoned them. Allies had forgotten their debts. Even neutral powers chose indifference over action. The pattern was complete. When faced with someone else's crisis, the galaxy always found reasons to look away. The lonely watchtower stood at the edge of Vortani space, its sensors sweeping endlessly through the cosmic noise. Communication Officer Park Byung-soo worked the night shift, the same routine he'd followed for 8 years. Most nights brought nothing but stellar radiation and merchant signals. Tonight felt different. At 3:47 a.m. local time, his screens flickered with an incoming transmission. The signal was weak, crackling with static from the Outer Rim territories. Park leaned forward, adjusting the quantum filters. Someone was trying very hard to reach them. "This is Captain Nam Il-sung of the Earth vessel Courage." The voice cut through the interference. "We've received your distress signals. Repeat, we have heard your pleas for assistance." Park nearly dropped his coffee cup. Humans. He'd studied basic human physiology in academy, knew they were a younger species from a small blue planet. Their ships rarely traveled this far from their local cluster. The signal strengthened. "Earth Coalition Command has authorized full humanitarian response to the Vortani crisis. We are mobilizing all available resources." Park's hands trembled as he opened emergency channels. Within minutes, Commander Jun rushed into the communications center, still in his sleeping clothes. Behind him came Dr. Kim Do-young, Ambassador Min Seo, and half the night staff. "Play it again," Jun commanded. The message repeated, clearer now. Captain Nam's voice carried no hesitation, no bureaucratic doubt. Just simple determination. "We're coming to help. Our advanced ship should reach Vortani space in 14 days. Stand by for detailed coordination protocols." A second transmission followed. The quantum communicator activated, its advanced technology, allowing near-instant communication across vast distances. A human face appeared on screen, Commander Kim Sung-woo of Earth's Emergency Response Division. Her appearance startled the Vortani staff. She looked young by galactic standards, with kind eyes that held unexpected steel. Behind her, they could see humans rushing about with urgent purpose. "My name is Commander Kim," she began. I want you to know that Earth stands with the Vortani. People. We're mobilizing everything we have. Our merchant marine, our colony transports, our research vessels, even our luxury cruise ships. Jun found his voice. Commander, with respect, your species has only recently achieved faster-than-light travel. The logistics alone are not your concern, Kim interrupted gently. Let us worry about how. You focus on preparing your people for transport. The quantum link expanded. More human faces appeared. Engineers, doctors, logistics specialists. Dr. Yang Jun Seok, whom some Vortani scientists knew from research exchanges, stepped forward. We're already modifying our ships, he explained eagerly. Your atmospheric requirements, your gravity preferences, your dietary needs. We have teams working around the clock. What took the Crystalline Empire months to calculate, we're implementing in days. Behind Yang, they could see human shipyards buzzing with activity. Welders sparked, engineers shouted over machinery, and crews loaded supplies with mechanical precision. A new face joined the call, Admiral Torres, her uniform bearing decorations from various conflicts. Her expression was serious but warm. The human fleet is mobilizing, she announced. Every available vessel is being converted for evacuation duty. We've requisitioned private ships, suspended commercial operations, and activated reserve fleets. But your economy, Ambassador Minseo protested. The cost of such an operation. Admiral Torres smiled grimly. Freedom isn't free, and neither is doing what's right. We've called emergency parliament sessions. Every major corporation is contributing resources. Citizens are volunteering their personal ships. The communication center filled with more staff as word spread. Dr. Du Young studied readouts of human ship capabilities, his mandibles clicking in concentration. Their vessels are primitive by crystalline standards, he muttered, but numerous, and their modification speed. On screen, Chief Engineer O.G. Hai appeared, her hand still covered in machine grease. We're stripping down everything non-essential, she explained. Comfort becomes secondary to capacity. Entertainment systems out, life support pods in. We can fit 8,000 per transport instead of the usual 2,000. Young aide So Min watched in amazement as humans coordinated across multiple screens. Children drew pictures of Vortani to help crews recognize their passengers. Scientists worked on translation matrices. Doctors studied Vortani physiology from public databases. Why? Commander Jun asked finally. Your species barely knows us. We have little to offer in return. The quantum channel fell silent for a moment. Then Captain Nam's voice returned, stronger now as his ship approached closer. Because it's the right thing to do, he said simply. When someone screams for help, you don't calculate cost and benefit. You just help. Dr. Yang nodded vigorously. Human history teaches us this. When our own world faced disasters, floods, earthquakes, diseases, we learned that survival requires unity. Not just for our own species, but for any thinking beings. Commander Kim leaned forward. We have a saying, today you, tomorrow me. Today, you need saving. Tomorrow, maybe we will. The universe is vast and dangerous enough without abandoning each other. The room buzzed with translation as humans switched to rapid conversations in their various languages. Coordinator Song Min Jun, who'd studied human culture, recognized fragments of Mandarin, English, Korean, and Spanish. Earth's evacuation was truly a global effort. A child appeared briefly on screen before being gently moved aside. She'd been coloring pictures of ships with both human and Vortani flags. That's my daughter, explained Captain Lee Dongwu, joining the conference. She insisted on drawing friendship ships for the new friends we're going to save. The innocence broke through diplomatic formality. Several Vortani staff wiped moisture from their eyes, a reaction humans had recorded as similar to their own. Tears. First ships arrive in 13 days, Admiral Torres confirmed. We'll establish orbital stations for processing and distribution. Medical ships, food ships, housing ships, whatever you need. As the transmission continued deep into the night, something impossible happened. Hope returned to Vortani space, not because of rich civilizations or powerful allies, but because a Young species from the galaxy's edge had heard their cry and decided to answer. When the formal conference ended near dawn, Jun stood looking at the empty screens. So-Min approached quietly. "Commander, do you think they can really save us?" Jun considered carefully. "I don't know if they have enough ships, enough resources, or enough time. But I know they have something the others didn't." "What's that?" "The will to try." The first human ships appeared as dots of light against Vortani's dying stars. Captain Lee Dongwoo's massive transport, Haven, led the convoy, its hull gleaming with fresh modifications. Behind it came dozens of vessels, cargo haulers, luxury, cruisers, even converted mining ships, all repurposed for one mission: saving lives. Commander Jun watched from the orbital station as the Haven docked. Its airlock hissed open, and Captain Lee emerged wearing a breathing mask adapted for Vortani atmosphere. His first words were in broken Vortani. "We are here. You are safe now." Dr. Han Soo-jin rushed past him, her medical team already setting up triage stations. She moved with practiced efficiency, checking each Vortani evacuee with gentle hands. Her scanners had been modified to read Vortani biology, a feat that took months for other species, but days for humans. "Transport stress is normal," she explained to worried families. "The medication will help with nausea. Children adapt faster than adults. Don't worry." In the engineering bays, HFY worked miracles daily. Her team had stripped luxury suites from cruise ships, replacing them with family sleeping pods. What once held 200 tourists now sheltered 1,500 refugees. "Comfort can be rebuilt," she told her crew. "Lives cannot." The operation grew larger each day. Ships arrived in waves, 3 on Monday, 8 on Tuesday, 15 by Friday. Each carried not just transport capacity, but hope itself. Coordinator Song Min-jun, barely 25, managed the massive logistics. His holographic displays showed ship positions, cargo loads, population transfers. He worked 18-hour days, fueled by stimulants and determination. "Sector 7 needs more medical supplies," he called out. "Delta Transport reports engine troubles. Redirect to Station 4. Children's ship, Rainbow, arriving in 2 hours. Prep the welcome center." Young evacuees pressed their faces against portholes, watching their world shrink. Teen Lee Young-ho drew pictures of human ships in his journal, writing in broken English. "Angels with metal wings." But the galaxy's predators noticed the activity. Hegemony raiders struck the 5th convoy, 20 warships against 3 human escorts. The outgunned defenders fought desperately to protect transport ships full of families. Captain Park Hyun-jun commanded the escort Shield, its weapons vastly inferior to enemy vessels. When raiders targeted a transport carrying young children, he made a choice that would echo through history. "All power to shields," he ordered. "Interpose ourselves between them and the little hope." The shield took devastating hits meant for the transport. Its hull cracked, atmosphere rushing out, but it held position. Park's final transmission was calm. "Children safe. Transport free to jump. Tell Earth. Tell them we remember." His sacrifice wasn't in vain. Human reinforcements arrived, their corvettes small but fast. They swarmed the raiders like angry wasps, forcing them to retreat. News of the battle spread through both fleets. Human crews wept for a captain they'd never met, but whose courage saved their own kind. Vortani evacuees held memorial services, lighting candles in viewports. The rescue continued. Administrator Kim Na-young established processing centers on human colonies, temporary cities where Vortani could rest before permanent settlement. She worked with local human governors, arranging housing, food distribution, and integration programs. "These aren't refugees," she insisted. "They're new neighbors." Medical Officer Park Byung-soo treated patients from both species, his hands gentle as he checked human crew members exhausted from continuous work. Many had developed respiratory issues from modified ship atmospheres. Others showed symptoms of severe fatigue. "You must rest," he told Captain Nam. "Your crew pushes beyond safe limits." Nam smiled weakly. "When this is over, we'll rest. Every day we delay, more die. The evacuation ships worked around the clock. Engineers Oh Min-jun and Kang In-ho developed new loading systems that filled transports faster. They converted storage bays into temporary homes, prioritizing function over comfort. Dr. Yang Jun-seok studied each group of evacuees, ensuring optimal placement on human worlds. Some Vortani needed higher gravity, others specific atmospheric mixtures. His teams cataloged every need, every preference. "We're not just moving bodies," he explained. "We're preserving a civilization." Communication between species improved daily. Translator droids learned colloquialisms while children picked up languages naturally. Human kids taught Vortani games while learning alien crafts. Time ran short. Vortani's stars showed increasing instability. Solar flares disrupted communications daily. The radiation would soon make the world uninhabitable even before final collapse. Captain Choi Hyun-ki led the final surface operations, his teams collecting essential cultural artifacts and genetic samples. Every trip down risked radiation poisoning, but they persisted. "Future generations must know their heritage," he told volunteers. As the 7th month arrived, nearly 5 million Vortani had been evacuated, but 3 million remained, and the ships were wearing out. Several transports needed major repairs. Crews worked beyond exhaustion. The humans never wavered. When supplies ran low, merchant ships from Earth arrived with food, medicine, and spare parts. When raiders threatened, military vessels provided escort. When hope faded, human voices on radio channels sang songs of encouragement. So Min watched, a transport depart carrying her extended family. Through tears, she typed the day's evacuation report. No longer did she catalog failures and rejections. Now she recorded humanity's quiet heroism. The engineer who gave his life fixing a hyperdrive, the doctor who worked without sleep for 40 hours, the captain who sacrificed his ship to save strangers. The rescue operation became legend. But for those living it, it was simply neighbors helping neighbors across the vast darkness of space. The twin suns of Vortani collapsed into a brilliant funeral pyre, their combined light visible from neighboring systems. Commander Jun stood on the bridge of the final evacuation ship, watching through protective filters as his homeworld became stardust and metal. Final departure confirmed, Communications Officer Park Byung-soo reported, his voice steady despite the tears streaming down his face. Behind them, 8 billion years of evolution and civilization vanished in stellar fire. 3 months later, New Haven bloomed with impossible gardens. The human colony world had been hastily prepared, its cities expanded to accommodate millions of refugees. Governor Yoon Jae-sung stood in the main square, watching children from 2 species play together on jungle gyms designed by teams that had never worked together before. "Strange," he mused to his aide, Kim Na-young. "6 months ago I was worried about budget deficits and trade agreements. Now we're building a whole new world." The integration wasn't without challenges. Vortani required different atmospheric mixtures in their homes. Their children learned differently. Their elderly needed specialized care. But human volunteers stepped forward for everything. Dr. Kang In-ho, a human medical researcher, worked alongside Dr. Du Young in the newly constructed hospital. Their combined knowledge was creating breakthroughs neither species had imagined possible. "Your neural regeneration techniques with our stem cell research," Kang explained excitedly. "We could cure paralysis within a year." Vortani human medical teams were already traveling to other worlds, sharing their discoveries. The same galactic civilizations that had refused to help the evacuees now competed to hire these miracle workers. Ambassador Park Min-seo found irony in the situation. The wealthy syndicate offered millions for Vortani human medical patents. The same hegemony that demanded their databases now begged for treatment of a plague affecting their colonies. "We share freely," Min-seo told them. "As humans taught us, when someone needs help, you don't calculate profit." In the school built beside the original human settlement, teacher Jin Yuna watched her mixed classroom work on a group project. Lee Young-ho, now 14, worked with human girl Rachel Kim on designs for better atmospheric processors. "My dad was an engineer," Young-ho explained in fluent English. "He wanted to build things that help people. Now I can help humans too. The Ao Memorial Plaza honored both species' sacrifices. Captain Park Hyun-jun's name stood beside those of human crew members who died in the evacuation. Fresh flowers appeared daily, Vortani parents teaching their children about heroes who gave everything for strangers. Captain Nam Il-sung, now promoted to admiral, visited regularly. His ship Courage had made 17 round trips during the evacuation. He often stood before the memorial remembering friends lost in the rescue. They died so millions could live, he would tell his crew. That's the bargain we make in this uniform. The economic transformation amazed everyone. New Haven's economy grew by 300% as Vortani knowledge merged with human innovation. Breakthrough technologies emerged weekly. The planet became a model for interspecies cooperation. Dr. Yang Jun-seok published papers on cooperative evolution, how different species could advance faster together than apart. Universities throughout human space established Vortani studies programs. Commander Kim Song-woo, retired from active duty, now headed the New Haven Integration Institute. She helped newly arrived species, not just Vortani but others displaced by wars or disasters, find homes in human space. Humans learned from the Vortani crisis, she explained to a delegation from the Trade Consortium. We created permanent refugee protocols. Next time someone calls for help, we'll be ready. The consortium delegates looked uncomfortable. They'd come seeking military contracts, not lectures on morality. Communications officer Byung-soo worked with human linguists to create a universal translation matrix. Their breakthrough allowed instant communication between dozens of species, revolutionizing galactic diplomacy. The greatest success was the children. Young Vortani human friendships became lifelong bonds. They grew up bilingual, bicultural, creating art and music that blended both traditions. Lee So-min, Commander Jun's former aide, established the Interspecies Cultural Exchange Program. She watched 10-year-olds teach each other games, share foods, argue over whose mathematics was better. This is the future, she told Jun. Not just survival, but something new. 3 years after the evacuation, the newly elected president of the Vortani Human Federation signed the New Haven Accords. The document established rights for all sapient beings, regardless of species, and created an interstellar rescue service. Captain Lee Dong-woo's daughter, now fluent in Vortani, gave the opening address. Her young voice carried across the galaxy via quantum transmitters. When strangers needed help, Earth answered. When friends asked for aid, we gave everything. Today, we are one people under many suns. The irony wasn't lost on observers. Species that had ignored Vortani pleas now studied human Vortani colonies with envy. Their joint missions rescued 6 different civilizations from natural disasters in the first year alone. The old galactic order crumbled slowly. Civilizations that prioritized profit over principles found themselves isolated. Trading partners preferred dealing with species that showed compassion, not just calculation. Han Soo-young, now director of New Haven's agricultural programs, developed crops that thrived on dozens of worlds. Food shortages, once common in remote systems, became historical footnotes. As Commander Jun walked through the gardens where his grandchildren played with human friends, he reflected on the journey. They'd lost their homeworld but found something greater, a future where species differences meant strength, not division. The monument at the city center bore words composed by poet Jin Yuna. From the ashes of one world, 2 species built 1,000 futures. Here, where starlight meets soil, we choose hope over fear, connection over separation, tomorrow over yesterday. Above, ships from Earth and New Haven departed for rescue missions across the galaxy. The Vortani crisis had ended, but the lesson endured. Sometimes the youngest voices speak the wisest truths, and sometimes doing right matters more than being powerful.